Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be continuing my series on the seaside, the seascapes. So a few months ago, I did this YouTube video where I presented how I tackled a new composition and how I broke down the composition into simpler pieces. And I'm going to use this and start to do some color studies with acrylics because I want to do the final piece with acrylics. So I've prepared my brushes here. This is a Stay Wet palette. So I've used it yesterday or 2 days ago, I don't remember. And hopefully it's still wet. Yeah, it's very wet actually. So this is how it looks like. And this is, you have a kind of wet sponge and then some palette paper on top. And it helps your mixes to stay wet when you're painting, because otherwise acrylics just dry super fast. And in the first video I was doing on YouTube on acrylics, I had this issue that whenever I was painting, I had to remix some color because my mix just became super dry, super fast. I kind of forgot that I did this in this sketchbook. I thought it was in another one. So I've already gessoed a page here to do my color studies. So I will try to remember what was the composition like. Maybe I will just do a short sketch to remember it. So let's start with this. And just so that you know, I still have my reference image to get the colors right. And I'm using those. It's a set of Galeria acrylic from Winsor & Newton, and I also have a tube of Payne's Grey here. But for now, in my palette, I only have the primaries. So blue, red, yellow, and some white. And I will see if I need the other colors actually. In the colors pack that I also have a burnt umber, I have a pale green, and I have the Payne's Grey. So let's do just a quick sketch here to remember what was our composition like. So I'm just going to start with small color studies because I'm not sure yet which color I want to use. So let me just redraw this bigger. Maybe I can zoom in here also, that you see better what I'm doing. And let's start with this one, and this is a size 8 flat brush. So I'm just wetting it a little bit, and I'm going to start, I think, with a very white version of the blue for the sky. So I'm mixing a ton of white in the blue because the blue has a very high coloring potential. So if I want a very soft one, I need to put really a ton of white. Should have started with white and added a little bit of blue in actually. Never mind. And usually with acrylics you want to sorry, I'm concentrating. To use a palette knife to do your mixing so that you're not clogging your brush, but I always forget to use one. And I think I'm going to use the same base for the water right now, and I can always go on top because acrylics is opaque. So I think I want to have the sky a little bit lighter, but I can do that later on. And I want to have the water, maybe add a tiny bit of green into the water, of yellow, to have a little bit more of a greenish tint to it. But we'll see that afterwards. And I'm going to use the same mix, but add a little bit of red now, and some more blue, to get light purple. And I love mixing on top of my existing stacks, keeps the thing more coherent. And I'm going to put this in some of the shadows already to help understand a bit more what I'm working with. And I remember that I want the right part to be more on the cool tone and the left part to be more on the warm tone. No, the right part to be more on the warm tones and the left part to be more on the cool tones. So I also have to keep that in mind. So now I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm starting with light colors and I can always build on top afterwards. So now I'm using a tiny bit of yellow, tiny bits of red and a lot of white still to get more of a sandy color. It's a warm sandy color. I'm going to put this for the path here. And I'm using it very diluted for now, so it's not opaque at all. I need to put much more, less watery paint and thicker paint to have something more opaque. But as it's just some color studies for now, I don't really care. And I'm going to put this also maybe with a tiny bit of blue to get more of a grayish tone. I think it's a little bit too much on the cool side, so I'm going to add some more red. This is very salmon-y here. I'm adding some more yellow in it, some more white. And I'm going to use this for the first layer of my blocks here. I'm going to use this for all of those, and then I'm going to segregate more on the future layers. And I'm thinking burnt umber could be a nice color to add to my mix here. Okay, so I didn't put all of the trail, so I need to go over the trail again. And I think I want the trail to be more on the yellow side, so I'm going to add some more yellow to this. And now I'm going to try, first I'm going to mix a green. So I want a very muted green that goes more on the blue side than the green side, than the yellow side, sorry. Just to put it on top here and putting even more white to have a more muted one for the cliff in the distance. Usually the more white you put, the more desaturated the color will be, and so it's pretty nice for the colors that are far away in the distance. So now I'm gonna work on the blue, so I'm going back to what I've mixed on the blue and I'm adding a tiny bit of yellow to have much more of a turquoise color for my blue. So it's much more saturated in blue with a tiny bit of yellow to get this turquoise color, which works pretty well. And the closer I go to the sand, the more white I'm going to put also, because the more shadow it becomes. And I can even add a bit of the sand color here to kind of mix in. To do the transition, that's nice. Okay, so it's slowly taking shape. Now I want to work more on this one here, and I want something much more on the purple side. So I'm going to add some more blue, purple color, and I'm going to start working on this. I put quite a thick layer of gesso, so the paint is not is taking longer to dry, I feel, which is not super convenient for quick color studies, but it's convenient when you want to have time to work and blend your colors together. Like so. And for, like I said, I want to be much more on the warm side here, so I'm going to add a tiny bit of yellow to the mix and more red to have more of a warm shadow color here. I'm going to add that to the other side. And I'm going to add some white to have a shadow color for the cliff in the background too. With the same idea that the more in the distance it is, the less saturated it will be, and the less details you will have. Now I'm going to add some more yellow, diluted with a tiny bit of white, just to add more of this sun color on some of the cliffs that are heated by the sun. And for the path itself, I think it works quite well for the colors. I'm going to do some more sketches like that, but adding now the burnt umber also to my palette and see if I can make it work with the other colors. So I'm just adding a tiny bit of burnt umber to my palette here. I'm going to see if it can make some interesting changes. So let's do another one, another sketch here. And usually when I'm doing quick sketches like that, I also keep my, sorry, I'm doing my sketch, so I need to concentrate. So I have my horizon line here, and I think I want to have the cliff going over the horizon line actually. Let me see. Yeah, this one is going a little bit over here. Let's start again with the sky, but this time having much more of a pale sky. This might be a little too pale. Let's add a tiny bit of blue. The thing with acrylics, at least with the colors that I have, is that they are super strong, and for now I'm struggling to get more muted and earthy colors with them. So it's something I'm working on, and I'm working on my mixing skills and that. But for now it's not there yet, let's say. So I need to be very careful when I'm doing my mixing, so that I'm not too heavy-handed on my colors. So here for my cliffs, I'm starting with a mix of burnt umber, yellow and white for my base color, and I'm gonna work from there to add the shadows and the highlights. So that's for the sunny side. And for the darker side, I'm gonna add some blue into the mix. No, that's not working. I'm gonna go back to blue with a tiny bit of burnt umber, I think, and some white. And I remember now that burnt umber and steel blue creates much more of a greenish tone. So probably I should have used my paints gray here, I guess. I need to work a little bit more on my color mixing with these paints because I don't know them enough right now. So now that we know that, and that this is mostly dry, let's go back to our painting and let's mix some burnt sienna with paints gray with white to get a base color for our rock here. Let's work on our green. I think the last green was quite nice, but I wanted it to be a little bit more muted, so I'm gonna add a bit of burnt sienna to the previous mix, just to create a more natural green. It will be a little bit more on the olive side. So I've played a little bit more with my swatches and think about this one here, and I'm gonna do just the last one to see if I understood right what I've learned from the other ones. So I like the very pale sky, like so. I like the turquoise water, so with blue, a tiny bit of burn of Payne's grey, and then adding a little bit of yellow for the turquoise color. I'm getting paler as I get to the shore here. And for the path, I like to have this sandy color that is almost pink with a tiny bit of yellow, but not too strong on the yellow and very pale. That goes into the water a little bit, this color. Then for the base color of the stone, I'm gonna use just Payne's grey with blue, Payne's grey with white, sorry, for the base color of this one here. And for the ones on the other side, I'm gonna use burnt umber as the base color, and with more and more white as I go to the background. Then for the shadows, for the one here, I'm gonna use my my Payne's grey with a tiny bit of burnt umber. And I'm going to use this to add some more 3D to this stone there. And then for the ones on the right, I'm going to use my Payne's grey again, but this time with my primary red. So more purplish tone. And adding some more white as I go to the background. Same idea as before. Okay, already I think it looks more coherent. For the green, I'm going to use Payne's grey again with a tiny bit of yellow. For the one here, it makes this very beautiful dark green, and then again some white for the one in the background. Like so. For the stones in the water, I'm going to use this Payne's grey mixed with burnt umber. Almost straight Payne's grey actually, but with a tiny bit of burnt umber. And I'm going to add these different things here and there. And last thing, I'm going to add some yellow with a lot of white, just to add kind of a sunlight effect on some of the stones here, and a tiny bit on the path. And yeah, I think that will be the colors I'm gonna go for. And so the next step will be to do a bigger study here of this, to work more on the details of the forms, and then I will put it in the canvas. Hi, voiceover me here. So I actually did this bigger color sketch study thing 5 days after I recorded the first video, and I sped up here so that you can see parts of the process. That I really enjoyed. I think the stone on the left, the boulder on the left turned out a little bit too dark, and I don't like the shape of it, but otherwise it was really nice to try new brush textures and to have more space to play. And so yeah, this is how I prepare for bigger pieces, and in the next video I hope to be able to record the process of doing the bigger final piece on the canvas. So stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy this whole series thing. I have one on the Path series coming next, and I also have some more chill out videos coming. So stay tuned for that, and see you in my next video. Bye!